Hey everyone, Anthony Scott here, ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we are checking out Mattel's new Masters of the Universe Revolution Skeletor figure. As you know, he's actually Skeletek from the animated series. However, on the box it says Skeletor, I guess so that kids and parents can recognize who the character is. Special shout out and thank you to site sponsor BigBadToyStore for sending Skeletek along for a review. This is greatly appreciated. To buy this figure and some additional figures, check out the link in the YouTube description or the hyperlinks off of ToyHypeUSA.com, which will take you to their store and all the figures that are available for sale. We would greatly appreciate it before you shop. Thank you in advance. Skeletek comes in a window box with some beautifully done artwork here, and they really did a nice job capturing the animated artwork. It's phenomenal. Motherboard, as you can see, is behind Skeletek, which is beautifully done. And below there, he has some of his minions. That is Triclops. On the other side, you have another image of Skeletek. And on the back, you have him in various poses, including the crown, which is included. That can be placed on top of his head. So if you've watched all 6 episodes, there's a scene where he puts the crown on his head, and that's his Havok staff, which is part of his arm. And here's a look at additional figures offered in this wave, including Sorceress Teela, Man-at-Arms, Trapjaw, and Skeletek, of course. So I'm going to take them out of packaging now, and let's take a closer look. Here's your in-hand look at Skeletek. Just a reminder, this review is sponsored by BigBadToyStore. Thanks again to them for sending Skeletek along for a review. Skeletek is a mix of technology and magic, as he was created in this form by the Cult of Motherboard in the Revolution animated series, which is currently streaming on Netflix. This figure depicts a great likeness from the series, and I think Mattel's toy designers have done a fantastic job capturing that likeness. As you can see, there is a lot of detail going on with this figure, and especially for the price point, I think they most certainly nailed the likeness. Here's a look at all sides, giving you a look at all the details here. And the back, as you can see, the technology is formed with his body and the torso here. And the only place where you see his light purple skin tone is in the torso and the left shoulder and arm. The head sculpt is hooded, so most of it is covered in the hood. However, you get to see the skeletal details, which, as I'm sure you're aware, is his face. And there's even that light green turquoise-ish color right on his chin there and the sides of his cheeks. The eyes are even painted. And he even has his nose with just some black deco in there. His teeth are sculpted, just as you will remember from every other Skeletor figure, which looks great. Here is a look at the back. Again, all of this is hooded, and there's even a bit of sculpted texture on this hood, so you should be able to see this on camera, what I'm talking about, as the light is reflecting off it. And in the front, he has some red trim right on the front of the hood. As I said, the skin tone is a light purple, and it's a mix of technology and magic, so there's a lot going on as far as detail with this figure. And there's even some sculpted detail on the chest. You should be able to see some of that as the light is reflecting off that as well. Let's take a look at the back. Same sculpted detail here on the torso, as well as the left shoulder and arm. His one piece of clothing is sculpted around his hips, and this is permanently on. You cannot remove it. On the front, he has this belt buckle type design, which looks like it's removable. However, you cannot unbuckle it. This is permanently sculpted on. This piece of clothing is not meant to be removed, so don't even try it. And you see the sculpted textures right on the garment as well. That's all very nicely done, and there's red trim on the top and bottom. Here is a look at the back. See all those textures there. On the belt, he has these tiny sculpted details, which are all around, and that's very nicely done as well. His lower legs and feet are giving these cybernetic components, and this is done with metallic deco, showcasing its metal. The feet have 3 toes in the front, and the upper legs are painted in this metallic silver. It looks like with a little bit of blue wash or light purple wash, and the feet are given a metallic purple. This is all very nicely done. Here is a look at the back. Make sure to pick your poses carefully, as he might fall over, especially with his right arm up. So just be aware of that. If you've watched the animated series, I finished all 6 episodes before working on this review. And the right arm is his Havok staff that is now fused with his body. So you should be able to recognize the front of it, which has the skeletal head of the Havok staff, which you see right here, fused with technology and magic. And he has the purple metallic horns on the sides of it. Here's a look at the other side. And as you can see, the technology is fused in there. That's very nicely done. The jaw is hinged, and there we go. There is a look at that. So that's another option to display it. This arm is also bendy, and other than a ball-jointed shoulder, so you can really have a good range of motion with that. You can also bend the arm to your delight, which looks great, as shown, as if he has articulation in his elbow, which I think is very nicely done. Behind the head is the back, and you see these very nicely done details as well. This is metallic purple and red deco, which gives the Havok staff some nice attention to detail, as it's now fused with the right arm. And here is a look at the other side of it. Skeletek is also fully articulated and includes a ball-jointed head and neck. Really good range of motion. The right shoulder is ball-jointed, and the rest of this can bend, as the arm is bendy. The Havok staff has a hinged jaw, so that also has a good range of motion as well. Ball hinged left shoulder, swivel biceps, double hinged elbows, swivel hinged wrists, ball jointed torso, good range of motion here as well. Ball jointed hips, however, this piece of clothing does prevent some of that articulation. Swivel thighs, swivel knees. He also has hinge knees, so you can move it forward and back, which I think is a nice touch. Swivel calves, hinged and rocker ankles. Skeletek includes 2 accessories, including King Keldor's crown. I'm going to keep this spoiler free and not specify the story behind that, but he does come with it, and he does wear it in the series. He also includes a left interchangeable closed-fisted hand. Here's a close-up of the crown. It has an orange jewel right in front, which is sculpted on. And here's a look at the back. To put it on, make sure to put it over this back piece first, and then slide it right on the head. Here's a closer look at that left interchangeable closed hand. Now, my favorite part of any review is to compare with what's come before. Here's a comparison with the first release of Skeletor in this Masterverse line, based on Revelation. And here is a look at the back. Here we have a comparison of Skeletek with Skelegod. Here's Skeletek with Barbarian Skeletor. Skeletek with Horde Skeletor. Here's Skeletek with New Avengers Skeletor. And finally, here's a comparison of Masters of the Universe Classic Skeletor. On the left is the Filmation release, and on the right is the Skeletor offered with the plastic cape. Overall, I think Skeletek is a beautiful figure. I think fans are going to love. Great likeness to the animated series and great attention to detail done on this figure. My recommendation would be to pick him up. Thank you again to BigBadToyStore for sending him along for a review. It's greatly appreciated. I have a few more figures to review for them, so do check back and we'll be covering those as well. To shop at BigBadToyStore, make sure to click the link off of the YouTube description or the hyperlinks off of ToyHopUSA.com. We would greatly appreciate that in advance. I am Anthony Scott. Thanks again for watching this video, and stay tuned for more coverage and reviews.